Firstly, on justice, because we are also responsible for constitutional development. I will also speak with regard to correctional services. The first one with regard to the Constitution is that the President's announcement affects the rights of South Africans, and it is done in terms of the Constitution. And this announcement, in terms of the Constitution, in terms of Section 36 of the Constitution, which is the limitation clause, it does provide for the limitation of rights. And it says that in terms of the limitation clause, rights listed in the Bill of Rights may be limited by law of general application, where the limitation will be reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on dignity, equality, and freedom, and taking into account all relevant factors, including the nature of the right, the importance of the purpose of the limitation, the nature and extent of the limitation, the relation between the limitation and its purpose, and less restrictive means to achieve the purpose. I'm reading this in the Constitution for the purpose of the public, so that even the members of the media could be able to help the public understand some of these constitutional provisions which the President relied upon, including the cabinet, to limit the rights which we are limiting in terms of the various laws. Minister Mthethwa spoke about the sports laws, Minister Mkhize spoke about the health regulations and the health laws, and Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma spoke about the Disaster Management Act. So all those laws are going to be used to limit some of the rights during this containment of the virus. And they will be anchored with the two laws in terms of the health regulations and the Disaster Management Act. I just want to read the Disaster Management Act provisions, which I think might also be beneficiary to the public. The Disaster Management Act states that the invocation of the national disaster provides the executive with far-reaching powers to manage a national crisis in the country, including the power to make regulations or issue directions or authorize the issue of directions concerning the release of any available resources of the national government, including stores, equipment, vehicles, and facilities, the release of personnel of a national organ of state for the rendering of emergency services, the implementation of all or any of the provisions of the National Disaster Management Plan that are applicable in the circumstances, the evacuation to temporary shelters of all or part of the population from the disaster-stricken or threatened area, if such action is necessary for the preservation of life, the regulation of traffic to, from, or within the disaster-stricken area or threatened area, the regulation of the movement of persons and goods to and from or within the disaster-stricken or threatened area, the control and occupancy of premises in the disaster-stricken or threatened area, the provision, control, or use of temporary or emergency accommodation, the suspension or limiting of the sale, dispensing, or transportation of alcohol beverages in the disaster-stricken or threatened area, the maintenance or installation of temporary lines of communication to, from, or within the disaster area, the dissemination of information required for dealing with the disaster, emergency procurement procedures, the facilitation of a response post-disaster recovery and rehabilitation, other steps that may be necessary to prevent an escalation of the disaster or to alleviate, contain, and minimize the effects of the disaster, or steps to facilitate international assistance. I'm reading this so that the public will also understand the measures and the available statutory that is at the disposal of the executive. And as we speak, as Minister Dlamini said, we are currently developing the regulations that are going to be promulgated as urgently as possible, that are going to govern all the issues that are stated in the Disaster Management Act. that are going to further limit some of the rights that people are currently enjoying, as is necessary as per the advice of the Department of Health. So the decision of Cabinet, one of the questions was that are we using best practice from China or anywhere in the world to learn in terms of putting the strongest measures possible? Yes, we are going to use and put the strongest measures possible available in terms of the regulations. What the law permits us to do, we are going to do it, and what will enable us to be done to prevent a disaster is all the options are on the table. And we will be guided by the Department of Health. Whatever measure or instrument that will be needed by the Department of Health to contain the virus, we are going to look into the laws, and when the law allows it to be done, we are going to do it. And if there is no regulation which allows it to be done, we will promulgate it without delay. And we have also been, we want to also thank the members of the legal fraternity across the country. Some of them have already volunteered their services. They are saying they will help us, and some are already helping us with various work that relates to various work streams in relation to this. And they are doing so voluntarily. So this situation calls for all of us South Africans, and we want to also thank them. One of the issues that Minister Mkhize spoke about is an issue that might lead to the escalation of the, in case there is a need to escalate. As we have said, all options are on the table. But at this stage, we really believe the options that the Department of Health want can be done through the various regulations in terms of the Disaster Management Act, and they may at this stage, at this phase, be sufficient. But if there is a need, and I must state that the declaration of the national state of disaster, to the best of our collection, has never been done before for the whole country, for the whole nation. So this has been the most measure that has been applied by this cabinet at this stage, and we believe it is necessary, and it is also the strictest means by which we can limit the rights at this stage. If, as Minister Mkhize said, it does not, there may be some other strengthening we may need to do, we will invoke the powers under the State of Emergency Act of 1997, as read with Section 37 of the Constitution, which states that the declaration of state of emergency to be made by the President by proclamation in the Government Gazette. A state of emergency may be declared in the Republic or in any area within the Republics in terms of Section 21A of the State of Emergency Act. I'm giving you that this is it will be an element of last resort if there is a need. And we are also showing or indicating to you that we are putting all options on the table, and we will use all the necessary means as guided by the Constitution. And again, the department is currently drafting the regulations to be ready in case there is a need for the declaration of a state of emergency. And the next one relates to correctional services. You will pardon me, Mvelase. I'm just trying to get the... They say I must talk from my heart. I don't want to do what we used to do in the Youth League. Because upon arrival in government, they told me that, yeah, you must read from a script. You don't just talk. So let me just, I got this thing now, Mvelase. With correctional services, in terms of the announcement by the President, is that we are going to operationalize to sanitize all correctional centers. And this closely monitored and managed by COVID-19 Special Task Team, in liaison with the Department of Health. All the facilities will be sanitized across the country. And as we are speaking, the process has started to to ready the facilities that after 30 days, they can be able to now begin a process of allowing visitors, of allowing other people from outside to come in. We have got, as we speak now, as from the 13th of March 2020, the inmate prison population of South Africa is 154,223. So it's a huge population which we cannot take any risk on. And thanks to the President's foresight, when he did the remission in December, we had an overcrowding of almost 37%. But as we speak today, the overcrowding in our cells is 23%, and the department is ready, will be able to contain and manage anything inside the cells in terms of testing, in terms of isolation, in terms of any measure that is needed. One of the issues which we'll have to engage with the members of the judiciary is that these stringent measures may affect the court, because some of the inmates may need to go to courts may need to consult with their lawyers, who are not currently, may not be able to access them. So we are in engagement with the judiciary. We will further have a meeting with the leadership of the judiciary and also of the legal fraternity to see how do we mitigate these factors so that the courts are still able to operate, the inmates are still able to go to court and come back, and we are able to isolate them and all that. So there will still be further measures that we'll need to take so that when they go to the courts and when they come back, there is a kind of procedure that we'll have to undergo. And this we are doing in consultation with the Department of Health so that they advise us what are the measures. The other measures that we are looking at is about the new or incoming inmates who are coming in who are newly sentenced. How do we isolate them and ensure that they don't come closer to the ones and after the issues of testing and when we are clear, how do we integrate? The other part relates to remand detainees who from time to time may need to go to trial and all that. So there is various categories of the inmates that we are currently in consultation with the Department of Health, the judiciary, and everyone. How do we manage that? And including with the courts, there is still further discussion, but at this stage, we expect that the courts will also have to comply with the issue of 100 people in the facilities, because that is now what is expected. You know, sometimes our courts, there are lots of people who want to go and observe the proceedings and so forth. So we will further develop measures with the judiciary and the legal fraternity and all the stakeholders that will also help us to ensure that only those are necessary to be in the courts are in the courts. Thank you.